I'm Sue Fillion. I'm a planner with the town of Brattleboro. I'm here today with Isabel McLoughlin, who is a graduate student who's been working with our department this summer, modeling some information, to present the slides from the August 12th Planning Commission meeting. There were slides shown to the Planning Commission, and they probably didn't show up that great on the regular recording, so we thought we would take this opportunity to show them again and give some explanation. So at the August 12th Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission has been looking at rewriting the subdivision regulations. The subdivision regulations deal with how parcels of land are carved up and also the related infrastructure, so roads and utilities, those kind of basic services that are provided to new parcels of land. The current regulations that Brattleboro have use a minimum lot size approach to regulating density. So there's a minimum lot size set in the zoning ordinance, and from there you take the entire parcel of land and divide it by the minimum lot size, and then you have what the density for the parcel will be. It's a very uniform approach. It works well in kind of flat areas, in urban areas, but we've found that it's not really responding to the physical conditions that we have in the more rural parts of town, probably more specifically the west part of Brattleboro. One of the problems is that it gives you a theoretical yield. So if you have 27 acres of land and the minimum lot size is 3 acres, then the automatic assumption is you can get 9 parcels of land if you're going to subdivide it. But that's actually not really true, because there's some land that will come out for roads, and then there's also undevelopable parts of the property, so wetlands, any water features, and then it can be really difficult to develop slopes that are greater than 25%. So the Planning Commission wanted to look for different methods to regulate lots, to regulate the density of a property, and at the same time to encourage clustering, so that there wasn't this uniform look to our rural areas, and they wanted the development approach to be more responsive to the landscape. So right now they're considering an approach called the feature-based density, and it would apply to the rural and the rural residential zoning districts. And what it does is gets rid of the minimum lot size approach. The benefit of that is that you could cluster the parcels, so that would provide more open space in the subdivision. And it can also reduce infrastructure costs, because if you don't have big parcels, then you can have shorter road or lower road costs, or water and sewer infrastructure and other utilities. And the way that the feature-based density works is, first, the density that can be determined, or that it's kind of a two-pronged approach. So the first is that the density, there's a base number that's going to be determined based on the features. And the Planning Commission right now is considering road access, what is the classification and the pavement condition of the roads that the parcel is on, and also whether it can access municipal water and wastewater infrastructure. So that's the first part for feature-based density. It's the feature part of it. And then the other determinant of the density is the physical features of the property. So we're trying to move away from that theoretical yield where you think you can get 9 lots out of 27 acres and give a greater respect to the physical conditions of the property and come up with what we call the net yield, or what you could actually build once you take out the undevelopable areas. And so the physical features that we are looking at are surface waters, so be it wetlands, rivers and streams. We're looking at the steep slopes, and we, in conjunction with the town plan, are considering those to be slopes that are greater than 25%. And then we're also looking at setback areas from surface waters and wetlands. And so Isabel has, as I mentioned, has been working with us this summer, and she has been able to use GIS to model this information for the rural and the rural residential zoning districts. And so she will take some time to go through what this looks like.
Okay, thanks, Sue. So in order to visualize and analyze the potential subdivision ordinance changes, I created a GIS database, which stands for Geographic Information Systems, for all of the rural and rural residential parcels in Brattleboro. So this database allows the viewer to see how the roads and other features, especially the physical features that Sue mentioned, affect the ability to subdivide each parcel. So here we have a base map of the town of Brattleboro. Using GIS data called shapefiles, which is a layer of information that you can visualize and query, and you query its associated attributes. The town has many of these, and I created one encompassing shapefile of all the rural and rural residential zone parcels with their associated attribute information that is pertinent to the subdivision ordinance changes that we've been talking about. So visually, you just see the parcel map symbolized here to show rural and rural residential parcels. The dark green is the rural, and the lighter green is the rural residential. So the information included in the attribute table are parcel IDs, which zoning district each parcel is in, the roads that access the parcel, and if the parcel is connected to or within 100 feet of either the municipal sewer line or the municipal town or municipal water line. And if the parcel contains steep slopes, wetlands, surface water, or is within the floodplain. So this is what the attribute table looks like. So this attribute table for the parcel shapefile has all the information for each parcel, and I can, or anyone can query or select out the information that is most pertinent to them. So here's a zoomed in piece of the attribute table that focuses on what types of road each parcel is accessed by. So we have 4 different types of roads. For this information, you have, I'll show you the map. You have Class 4, private roads, Class 3 gravel, Class 3 paved, and then Class 2 roads.
And the road classification is actually done based on the statewide system, so it's uniform. Class 1 are the state highways for the most part. They're all paved and easily accessible. Class 2 roads are also paved. There are both paved and gravel Class 3 roads. The Class 4 roads they're owned by the municipality, but our only maintenance responsibility is bridges and culverts. So we are not responsible, the town is not responsible for maintaining them for passage year-round, I guess you could say. So
yeah.
They can be in various conditions, but generally there's not much of a maintenance requirement for the town.
Mm-hmm. And the same goes with private roads. We don't really have information on their surface or what the quality is, but they're not maintained by the town either.
Right.
Okay. So as we said, this map shows the different road types, which will be a factor in determining how many units you could have on a parcel if you were to subdivide it. Also factoring into the subdivision ordinance is the municipal water and wastewater systems, as we said. So this is what the table would look like if you were going to focus on the town water and the town sewer. The last 2 columns to say if the parcel has town water or town sewer. Probably the most important and visually interesting is the determining of the net developable area, the physical features and constraints for each parcel. So the presence of certain features will make the area that they are located in undevelopable. Here's a map of the physical features that we've mentioned. Flood is this area all in red. So in those areas you cannot develop.
What we're saying with these red areas, first of all, they're the mapped floodplain. The 100-year floodplain is what it's often called, or the special flood hazard area. These, for subdivision purposes, what we're saying is that we would consider this as an area that you could not count towards the developable area on the site. So this is a constraint on the parcel.
Definitely. And so next we have the steep slope areas. These are kind of hashed in red. You'll see that there's a lot of area in Brattleboro, especially western Brattleboro, that has slopes over 25%. And here's shows all the physical constraints. We have the slope, the floodplain area, as well as the water, surface water and wetlands. So this map is very similar to the one you just saw before, but I wanted to highlight the areas that are physical constraints. So all the areas in red are the slope, the flood, surface water, and wetlands that intersect with each parcel. So those are the areas in red will hinder the development of each parcel. Okay. So probably the most important piece of this analysis is the table, the attribute table associated with it. So a member of the public or a parcel owner will come to the town and be able to query this shapefile and information so that they can figure out exactly what the net developable area of their parcel is. So going across, you'll be able to see all the pertinent IDs, the GIS ID and the address. Sometimes there's two addresses depending on how big the parcel is or what you have. And then you have the total parcel area, the union area, which is what we saw in red in this slide before, which has the slope, surface water, wetlands, and flood areas. And then you have the overlap area and the setback area. So the tricky part is here because the 50-foot setback from water and wetlands often overlaps in the same area as the union area. So we had to subtract the overlap area so that it wasn't subtracted more than once and further reducing your developable area. And then you have the development credit applied. So there's a 50% development credit for the setback area, meaning that you can develop on half of that setback area from the water and wetlands. Yeah, you can count half of that area towards your developable area. Mm-hmm. So as you go across the table, you can choose a record or a row and be able to go across, figure out how much acreage is taken up by setback or overlap or slope, water, wetlands, and flood to determine your developable area. Here's just the same map again. I wanted to be able to show you it again. The light green is the setback area of 50 feet from water and wetlands. The olive green is the overlap area, and the red is the slope, flood, water, and wetlands. And here is an example parcel. We showed this at the planning board meeting, and it was pretty helpful to see a parcel close up. So again, the red is the area you can't develop in, and the white would be the area you can. So for this parcel, which is on Marlborough Road, it's a total of 45.93 acres, but you can't develop on 28.336 acres. So the net developable area is actually only 17.51 acres, which, so you also have your 50-foot setback which takes up 0.683 acres. And you have to further subtract the overlap area, which is 0.257 acres.
And so with what the Planning Commission is considering right now, we have a weighting factor. So the base development density would be 1 unit per 2 acres for every 2 acres of developable area. And that's the base. And then we need to look at both the roads and its water and wastewater access. This parcel happens to access a state highway, I believe, or Class 3 road?
Paved road.
Class 3 paved road. Okay, sorry about that. But it is not within 100 feet of the municipal water and wastewater system. So because it would need to have individual on-site water and wastewater, under the existing or under the proposed weighting system, its density would be further reduced. So we would be looking at 1 unit per every 4 acres of developable area. So because there are a little over 17 acres of developable area on this site, you could get 4 parcels on it. Now, you would put those 4 parcels somewhere in the white area, but it could be, it could be a variety of parcel sizes, or they could be clustered all together. So I would say that the Planning Commission is still working out a weighting system and reviewing the information that Isabel has pulled together to kind of figure out what is the right weighting system to have. But this is a kind of a good opportunity to show the public what the Planning Commission has been working on. And if you have questions, you should contact the Planning Department or attend the Planning Commission meeting. The next one will be September 9th, Monday, September 9th, and they meet at 6 o'clock in the Select Board meeting room in the Municipal Center. Mm-hmm. So thanks, Isabel, for this work. It's been really great, and I think we'll have more examples as we work through this, but the information has been really valuable.
Thank you.